Good evening, you're watching KiniNews and I'm your host Prasad. The 1MDB corruption trial involving Najib continues, with a witness testifying today that Malaysia still owes billions of ringgit after 1MDB borrowed the money but failed to repay it in accordance to the set terms.
Malaysia still owes 13.3 billion ringgit in debt as a result of a joint venture between 1MDB and Aabar Investments. This was according to a testimony made by former Finance Ministry officer Siti Zauyah Md Desa, who used to be part of the ministry's loan management division. She said 1MDB had never reported to a division regarding the joint venture. During the 2.28 billion ringgit 1MDB corruption trial against Najib Abdul Razak, the 23rd prosecution witness claimed that the 1MDB dealt directly with the accused rather than going through her division. Siti Zauyah noted that Najib signed the letter of support for the joint between 1MDB and Aabar Investments PJS, which is a subsidiary of International Petroleum Investment Company. She told the Kuala Lumpur High Court that in the event that 1MDB fails to repay its debt, the lender bank will go after the Malaysian government, as the letter of support was signed by Najib. The prosecution contended that the $3 billion was raised for the purported joint venture, which was allegedly to develop the Tun Razak exchange in Kuala Lumpur, whereby the Finance Ministry issued the letter of support for 1MDB to raise the loan. The loan was allegedly raised through the issue of bonds by 1MDB from the Bank of New York Mellon Group. The bonds mature next year. The prosecution contended that as a result of a convoluted monetary trial, the amount of $681 million went into Najib's account in early 2013.
A lawmaker has hailed the king's speech against corruption. However, he says Najib's presence at the palace cast a shadow on the king's message.
MACC Special Committee member Hassan Abdul Karim said Malaysia is fortunate to have a head of state who is vociferous in condemning the scourge of corruption. He said the Yang di-Pertuan Agong's speech was crucial and relevant. However, the PKR lawmaker regretted that former Premier Najib Abdul Razak's presence at the palace had cast a shadow on the monarch's words of wisdom. In a hard-sitting statement, Hassan said he had to speak the truth and be frank, although it might be bitter and dangerous. Hassan was responding to Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah's speech at UiTM's convocation ceremony yesterday. His Majesty emphasized inculcating noble values in students and denounced corruption as a cancer that could ruin civilizations. Refraining from assigning the blame to the Agong out of respect for the royal institution and Istana Negara, the Pasir Gudang MP focused on his advisors and aides, as well as the Attorney General. The King also has access to the Attorney General, who acts as the government's lawyer. Hassan questioned whether none of them had the courage to advise the king not to invite Najib to Istana Negara. Hassan said while he respected an individual's right to invite whomever he or she chooses, especially during the month of Ramadan, the Agong, however, is the nation's head, and this role outweighs personal matters. Hassan said Najib had the moral obligation to remind the monarch that he was convicted and sentenced on over 7 charges in connection with the 42 million ringgit from SRC International. For the record, Hassan said his comments should not be construed as slander or incitement, but rather made based on facts.
Loh Si Hong was all smiles today after the court blocked Najibs from intervening in her divorce case.
The Perlis Islamic Religious and Malay Customs Council, MACC, can no longer access the 3 unilaterally converted children of Loh Si Hong.
No words, really no words. Dia orang pun jaga saya pun jaga dia orang. Every day saya swap dia orang pun swap saya. Oh, no words, really no words. Very, very happy.
Okay.
The civil court this afternoon dismissed the state religious body's application to intervene in the divorce proceedings between Loh and her Muslim convert former husband. The judge ruled that MACC failed to prove that it is an interested party in relation to the children. The judge noted that the state religious body had also failed to seek the views of the former husband in relation to the bid to vary Low's full custody order. Najibs previously filed for leave to intervene in the civil court matter so that it would have legal standing to seek to modify Low's custody order over her 3 children. The children were converted into Islam by their father, Muhammad Nagashwaran Munyandi. Nagashwaran, who is in jail on drug-related charges, was alleged to have unilaterally converted the children to Islam without Low's knowledge and consent. The single mother obtained full custody of the children in December last year.
Not all advice is good advice, but football fans asking you to stop sniffing glue is definitely good advice. You should take it.
Youth and Sports Minister Ahmad Faizal Azumu has thanked Malaysian football fans for telling him not to sniff glue. Writing on Twitter, Faizal also attached a picture of fans holding up the banner during Malaysia's match against Bangladesh at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil last night. Responding to the contents of the banner, Faizal said it was not only good advice for him, but everyone else. Malaysian football fans have ridiculed Faizal after the minister allegedly remarked that loud cheering by fans caused the national football team to lose to Bahrain in the 2023 Asian Cup qualifier match last Saturday. He said that his statement, which was made at an event in Ipoh, Perak, was reported by several media outlets and had been misunderstood. He then apologized to all fans, saying he was also a fan. Yesterday, Malaysia ended its more than 40-year wait to qualify on merit for the 2023 Asian Cup by scoring an emotional victory over Bangladesh at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil last night. The Harimau Malaya squad, coached by Kim Pangon, trashed Bangladesh 4-1 in their final Group E match of the final Cup qualifiers. Malaysia last played in the Asian Cup in 2007 when they co-hosted the tournament. Later in the night, Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob praised and congratulated the Harimau Malaya squad on the qualification to the 2023 Asian Cup finals.
Adips' family is hoping to move forward after withdrawing their appeal against Tommy Thomas. The family of slain firefighter Muhammad Adib Muhammad Qasim considers the contempt of court process and proceedings against former Attorney General Tommy Thomas and the AGC resolved. In a statement, the family's lawyers said this comes after both the family and the Attorney General's chambers withdrew their appeals in court. Previously, the AGC had filed an appeal in the federal court to challenge the Court of Appeal's decision on February 8th. Where its panel decided that the Shah Alam Coroner's Court has jurisdiction to grant leave to institute contempt proceedings against Thomas. At the same time, Adips' family had also appealed against a Shah Alam High Court's decision, which found Thomas had the right to appeal and set aside the leave given to the Coroner's Court to initiate contempt proceedings against him. Legal firm Muhammad Zubir Embong and Associates said following an order given by Adips' family to withdraw his father's appeal, lawyers filed a notice to court on May 31, 2022. And this was followed by a confirmation by the AGC that they had also withdrawn the application to the federal court. The lawyers said with this, Adips' family considers the contempt of court process and proceedings against Thomas and the AGC have been resolved and ends here. The statement also said the family hopes that the public would allow them to move forward and start a new life. The legal firm also confirmed that Adips' family received 1.5 million ringgit compensation from the government on November 29, 2021. However, the statement stressed that the resolution reached by the parties did not in any way affect the Coroner's Court's findings, which confirmed that Adib died as the result of being assaulted. Pay your taxes, people, or you could end up like Eric Tan. You don't want to end up like Eric Tan.
Eric Tan Kim Leung, an alleged associate of fugitive businessperson Joe Low, has been declared bankrupt. This is after he failed to pay income tax of over 68 million ringgit to the government. The Kuala Lumpur High Court Senior Assistant Registrar, Chai Guan Hock, recorded the bankruptcy order after hearing a creditor's petition filed by the government through the Inland Revenue Board against Tan on December 15, 2021. The Revenue Council of the Klang Valley branch, Siti Zauyah Md Desa, confirmed the matter. According to the creditor's petition, the government applied for a bankruptcy order on Tan's property as a debtor, as he owed the government over 68 million ringgit, which included interests and costs. The petition stated that Tan allegedly failed to comply with the requirements of the bankruptcy notice, dated June 8, 2021. The notice had been extended through a court order dated August 30, 2021, within 6 months before the submission date of the petition. The bankruptcy notice was advertised in the New Straits Times on September 14, 2021, and pasted at Tan's residence on September 10, 2021. The government filed a suit against Tan seeking payment for tax arrears, amounting to over 67 million ringgit for the assessment year 2010 to 2013.
Do you think telco bosses have nice offices? I'd expect them to. However, that doesn't matter for one telco CEO who has been remanded for 4 days.
A telecommunication network boss has been remanded for 4 days, starting today to assist in investigations over a bribe amounting to more than 200,000 ringgit. The remand order on the 43-year-old CEO was issued by Magistrate Muhammad Reza Azhar Razali under Section 16A-A of the MACC Act. The man had allegedly solicited and received bribes from a company as an inducement to award a telecommunication tower construction and upgrading project worth almost 50 million ringgit. He was detained at the Selangor MACC office at about 8 p.m. after showing up to give his statement. Separately, Muhammad Reza also allowed a MACC application to remand a senior enforcement officer and a business person for 4 days and 2 days respectively from today. According to a source, the senior enforcement officer was believed to have asked and received 200,000 ringgit from several individuals employing foreign workers illegally as a reward to facilitate the past application of foreign workers. The business person was investigated for abetting the senior officer.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.